Hello everybody and welcome back to Comic Corner and another book review. But before we get into the book review, first of all, I have a Santa Claus hat. Everybody's been wearing it this month, so I figured just a week before Christmas, or 4 days now before Christmas, might as well get a little festive. I did shoot a video before this video that we're shooting now, but you guys aren't going to see it until the day of or after Christmas, and you'll know why when you see that video. However, until then we have this video, and I found out where my lost comic books are. Turns out that, well, as far as they say, they attempted to try to deliver my package on Sunday. Yeah, so they attempted to deliver it on a day I was home the whole day. And I just got the notice today from the mailman. Something tells me UPS delivered it to the wrong, tried to deliver it to the wrong address. And that's why the mailman got it and delivered it today. So I will be going to get my comic books tomorrow at the post office because that's where they are. And probably we're going to hold off on the comic book review now until Saturday, because tomorrow is when I'm going to be getting them, and there's no way we're going to be able to read all of them by Saturday, by tomorrow night. And Friday I have a play at my work, so I can't do it Friday morning or night, because night I'm probably going to be bushed. So we're probably going to do it Saturday. But the good news is that's Christmas Eve, so we'll have a Christmas Eve review. And if the videos this week, if the comic books this week come on time, we'll have a double comic book review Christmas Eve special just for you guys. And in both packages, Mike in the first package has a few comics he's interested in, and in the other package he has some comics in. So aren't you happy, Mike? You're going to have comics in both reviews. They'll both be with me and Michael, because probably when we film them, we're going to be the only ones around, so Mike won't be the cameraman, at least for the next 2 episodes.
By the way, hello.
Let's get into this book review, because I bullshitted for how long?
A minute and 55 seconds.
Jesus Christ. Anyway, the Return of well, it's called The Return of Superman, but this is reprints all the comic books from Reign of the Supermen. In the front and in the back. Mind you, this is the first printing of this thick book, so that's why the cover may look different. If you buy it on Amazon now, I believe the cover is different. Back then, the book was $14.95 United States money and $19.95 Canadian money. And before TMNT came into my collection, this was my thickest book. This collects every single Superman issue from right after the Funeral for a Friend, which is this comic over here, Mike, if you mind swinging. This is the last part, Funeral for a Friend number 8, which was Superman number 77 in 1993, the 10th one that came out, and this was the end of Funeral for a Friend. There was a comic that took place right after this where Jonathan Kent had a heart attack and went to heaven or hell or wherever Superman was, limbo, and brought Superman back. Or so he thought. And after he came back, this happens. This introduced 4 characters: Superboy, Steel, Cyborg, Superman, and Eradicator, and we'll get into all of what they became later on in the book. So Superman is dead right now, and 4 Supermen rise. Superboy, who is the clone of Superman and Lex, we found out in the early 2000s that it was Lex Luthor's human DNA mixed with Superman's DNA, so it's not just Superman's DNA, but in this series it's believed just to be Superman's DNA. Steel, who is somebody Superman saved. He was a construction worker that fell, and Superman saved him before he plummeted to his doom, and he also was there when Superman was fighting Doomsday. We didn't see it in the Doomsday fight, but they do a flashback where Steel tried to help Superman and epically failed and got tons of crap buried. He got buried underneath a lot of building, and he emerged during the reign. Eradicator, who is the personality from a Kryptonian artifact that Superman got back in the 1980s. I cannot remember. Man from Krypton, I believe, or Krypton Man was the 5-part series. And then finally Cyborg Superman, who turned out later on, who was revealed in this series to be the actual villain, who actually becomes one of Superman's greatest rogues. Anyway, Superman's gone. These 4 Supermen emerge. Yeah, everybody believes, or is inclined to believe, that each one of these heroes, except for Steel and Superboy, are Superman. They know right off the bat that Superboy can't be Superman because he's too young, and Steel is not Superman. He doesn't even call himself Superman. He calls himself Steel. So the closest 2 you could imagine that are Superman are either Eradicator Superman, who later becomes Eradicator and changes his appearance about a dozen times, or Cyborg Superman, who claims to be from the future, reanimated. which is impossible because Superman's body is missing by the beginning of this issue. So you're led to believe that the Eradicator Superman is Superman. As time goes on, there's mysterious stuff going on. You get a little bit into Superman, Superboy, a little bit into Steel. Cyborg Superman meets with the president and whatnot. Steel is fighting people in his neck of the woods, and basically a bunch of different stories are going on. But then it's finally revealed that none of the 4 Supermen are Superman. As a matter of fact, the real Superman is back in the Fortress of Solitude. The Eradicator basically was keeping him. They show you a backstory where the Eradicator actually brought the body to the Fortress of Solitude to, I'm going to try to find the picture, to a rejuvenation chamber, so to speak, or it looked like an Easter egg to me when I was a kid. That's what it felt like anyway. And it turns out Cyborg Superman turns evil at this time, and it turns out he's working with Mongol. There are clans all around believing in which Superman is real. And basically Eradicator Superman gets messed up by Cyborg Superman, and he's really messed up, and he can't rejuvenate from the center anymore. And basically, here's where they explain everything. Basically, Superman was put into the rejuvenation cell, and Eradicator gets all his memories back, and he remembers becoming Eradicator. So, I'm trying to find the issue where Superman finally breaks free. It's like a 2-page spread, literally, on one book. And it's like, I'm not going to find it now because I should have bookmarked this book. I really should have. However, I didn't. So, okay. It was around when Steel was fighting Superman Eradicator. So, I don't think I'm going to find it. If I don't find it, then I'm sorry, guys. But just take my word for it. He comes back through the rejuvenation thing. Yeah, because here he is already. Yeah. So Superman's back, and he returns in the black and silver costume, which in my opinion was the coolest looking costume ever. I really like that costume. It actually was really nice. I don't know why they didn't expand on it more, like let him wear it a bit. Ah, here we go. The egg cracks open, and the original Superman is back. However, he doesn't have his powers, because Eradicator has been feeding and giving his powers to Superman, that he has basically no powers at this time, and his suit basically is going to give him back his powers. Well, it's claimed to, at least in the animated series it was claimed to. That wasn't the case at all. So Superman, powerless Superman, which this is a badass picture of Superman, Superboy and Steel and Eradicator go after Cyborg Superman, who has now destroyed Coast City, and this is what sends Hal Jordan in the Green Lantern series into a cuckoo phase, and he becomes the Parallax, the evil Parallax. And then you all know what happened in Green Lantern Rebirth. So in the end, basically, Eradicator sacrificed himself. This is how Eradicator turns out. This is the first of many different looks Eradicator has. Eradicator comes in to save Superman at the last moment, and through Eradicator goes all Superman's powers, as you can see in this picture, and down. Got it?
Yeah, got it.
Okay. And Superman gets his powers back, and yeah, let's see if I can get a good picture. Yep. And Superman has returned. And then it goes a little bit into the next comic, and then it cuts off, actually. Right here is not the end of this comic. The last comic they put in here, this is the 4th or 5th page in the following comic. This comic is actually this one, I believe, up here. And it's just the beginning of this one. So it ends kind of, really, it ends great. It ends with Superman and Lois Lane, where Superman says, "Or die trying." However, Phantom Stranger shows up, and there's a bit of like, he warns Superman about things that are to come in the future, and then Superman and Lois wake up and they're in Kansas, and Superman gets to see his parents again. I don't know why they omitted that in this book, but they did. But that's in this book, like I told you guys. So if you want, you can pick up The Adventures of Superman number... What number's up there, Mike? I can't see it because the light's shining on it.
505.
Number 505, and you'll get the last part of this book, the full part. People who were involved in this were my favorite writer, Dan Jurgens, Carl Kelsel, Louis Simonson, Roger Stern, John Bogdanoff, Tom Grummett, Jackson Geiss, Brett Breeding, Doug Hazelworth, Dennis Janke, Gerard Jones, M.D. Bright, and Romeo Tangrilla. Oh, these names, man. Tangrilla. Anyway, This book was awesome. It gives you every single issue except the last comic. Like I said, they cut off the ending, which I still to this day do not understand why they did that. So if you're going to get this, also get the Adventures of Superman 505 to see the true full-fledged conclusion of the reign of the Supermen. But this was awesome. This book was great. If you don't want to go out and buy, like, I believe it's like 20 issues. Let's see. This is issue 31, and issue 11 was the last part of the funeral. So if you don't want to pick up about 30 issues, here they are, all lined up for you in one book. 30 comic books in one for $15. This was one of the first big books I got, one of the first trade paperbacks I got as a child, and it was one of my favorite books as a kid. I still to this day love reading through it. The artwork is beautiful. The stories, there are 4 different stories that at some point all come together into one big story, and then all the secrets are revealed. Who's the good guy, who's the clone, who's the bad guy. Superman finally comes back, and Coast City is destroyed in this book. Coast City gets destroyed. This is the laying the groundwork to what happens to Hal Jordan, which leads him into becoming Parallax, which leads him into being dead, which leads him into being Spectre, which leads him back to Green Lantern Rebirth, where now he's a Green Lantern again. So, unfortunately though, in the new DCU, this never happened because Superboy was just created now. Cyborg Superman, we don't know where he is. Eradicator never existed, and Steel was around during the times where Superman was a young man. Yeah. So this is completely, this does not fall under the new DCU continuity. So if you want old DCU continuity, that's this. So if you're reading through this, remember this is no longer, unfortunately, in continuity. It should be. I don't understand why DC relaunched. This universe was a million times better, but DC wants to suck. Let them suck. I'm tired of talking about them. IDW does a great job with TMNT, so I'm more than pleased with them. So this book was awesome. 5 out of 5 stars. Loved this series. The origin, the first appearance of Superboy, Eradicator, and Cyborg Superman, and Steel, the second gen Steel, John Stewart Steel, are all in this book. And this was a epic story. Like I said, 4 stories that go into one, and then the return and the good triumphs over the evil, and Hal Jordan makes a guest star appearance in here. A lot of JLA people make guest star appearances in here. I would absolutely recommend this book. I know it's too late for holiday shopping, but after the holidays, if you get some extra money, you get some gift cards, give this book a try, because this book was really good. Some good classic Superman stories, even though Superman was only in about 10% of this book, but it's still good. It was still awesome. It was the 90s at their peak, or their high point, so to speak. I did like Superman when he had long hair, so I would say this was the beginning of the peak, of the upward trot, before they went down in the late 90s, early 2000s. So check this book out, guys. The Return of Superman, really good, 5 out of 5 stars. And that's it for this book review. We'll be back soon with the comic reviews. Hopefully, we're going to get the comics tomorrow at the post office, and the comic books this week have been shipped. We'll see how long it takes to get here, and if they're delivered to the right address. I hate the holiday seasons because this happens all the time. So guys, hope you are having a happy holidays, happy Hanukkah, because Hanukkah we're in the middle, we're on the second day of right now. Early Christmas to everybody, in case we don't get a video out before Christmas. And happy Kwanzaa and all of the holidays that are in this month. Return of Superman, awesome book. See you guys next time.